everyone, it's Lexi, and today I'm going to be sharing with you all the books that I read in the month of January. So this was actually a really good reading month for me. It kind of kick-started into a good reading year, and I actually stuck to my TBR. I had 6 books, which was kind of pretty ambitious for me. So without further ado, let's get started. So the first book that I read this month was The Assassin's Blade by Sarah J. Maas, and this is kind of like a prequel to the Throne of Glass series. It's a compilation of 5 novellas that kind of are the events leading up to Celaena's capture, where we kind of are introduced to her in the first book. And I actually thoroughly enjoyed this. I kind of gave it a 3.5 to 4 stars. I think my favorite novellas from this were The Healer and The Desert. Those ones were definitely my favorite. I don't want to go too much into it just because I don't want to give any spoilers away, but I have like a full review and discussion that I'll link down below if you want to hear more about it. And so yeah, like I know like a big thing was when Queen of Shadows came out, like people weren't sure if you needed to read this before Queen of Shadows. Well, I read Queen of Shadows before I read this, and it didn't really change that much of the story to me. I know there's one character that makes an appearance in Queen of Shadows who's in here, so it gives you some details, but you can still read Queen of Shadows even if you don't have this. I think you'll be just as fine. I read it without reading this, and it was fine. So yeah, so these next 3 books were part of the series. Like I was super excited to start this series because I was a fan of the movie growing up, and I actually never read the books. And it was The Princess Diaries, Princess in the Spotlight, and Princess in Love. And these are the first like 3 books. I know there's like a lot of books in these series, but I don't know, I gave this kind of 2 stars. I think because it's written for a younger audience, it was very hard for me kind of to adjust to that kind of like mindset, just because I'm kind of used to more adult writing styles. So, and I like the story, it does diverge from the movie a lot, so I think that's like my hopes were so high because I enjoyed the movie so much, and they're a little different. So I think this is one of the rare instances where I prefer the movie to the books. So yeah, like if you like are younger and you want to try these, and I think you'll definitely will like it. I just kind of had like, because it was kind of like the preteeny kind of stereotypical style that was really hard for me kind of just to grasp and just kind of enjoy. So yeah, if you like, these weren't really for me, but if you really kind of enjoy kind of that writing style, then I definitely recommend that you check these out. So this next one was one that was probably my favorite of the entire month, and it was Career of Evil by Robert Galbraith, and this is the 3rd installment in the Cormoran Strike series. For those of you who don't know, this is like kind of like the pseudonym for J.K. Rowling, and this is kind of like an adult murder mystery series. I don't want to give too much away about the plot of this one, but basically one day Robin, who is Cormoran's like assistant, ends up getting sent a leg, and Strike believes that there are at least 3 people who could be responsible for this. So it kind of deals with that, like his struggle with trying to find this killer. But we also get more into kind of background with Robin, and they kind of, Strike and Robin kind of question their relationship a lot. If you've like read this one, then I recommend that you check out our review for this as well. I think it'll be coming up, I think, next week if you're watching this live. So yeah, like it was so good. I gave it 4.5 out of 5 stars. If you haven't checked these books out, then I highly recommend you do. Like they just keep getting better and better, and I can't wait for the next one to come out. So the last book that I read this month was Playing with Fire by Tess Gerritsen, and this is Tess Gerritsen's newest novel. So the story kind of centers around a girl named Julia who is a musician, and while she is performing in Rome, she stumbles upon this old bookstore that has that sells old music. So she ends up buying one that has like these old gypsy tales, and inside of it is a handwritten musical number that she's never heard of. And so like when she's playing this, all these horrible things are happening to her, and she's determined that something is wrong with this piece. It has a very dark tone to it, and she's determined to figure out the history and kind of figure out who was the composer of this piece. And so what I enjoyed like about this was that it did have a World War II connection, like tie-in into it. That was really kind of interesting. I must admit though that it was very difficult to get into it at the beginning, like the first 50 pages, just because I wasn't really sure the direction this was going. But once like the story picked up, then I thoroughly enjoyed it. I think I gave it a 3.5 out of 5 stars. I would have given it more, but just because this book's like only 240 pages, like a great portion of this book I didn't really end up enjoying in the beginning. So that's why, but it was really well written. You can tell that the author did a lot of research in kind of the scenarios that took place, and kind of how there is an author note in the back, like some of the events that took place in the book are actually things that happened in true life. So yeah, if you're looking for like a suspenseful like thriller with like World War II like historical fiction element into it, then I highly recommend that you check this one out. So that's it, guys. I hope you enjoyed this video. Let me know in the comments below about some of the books that you read this month, or if you've read some of these, like what you thought about them. So yeah, don't forget to give this video a thumbs up, and I'll see you next time. Bye, guys!